As you remember, we have started working on a series on this channel, and we are building a fully GSAP kind of landing page. And today we are on the third video of this series. So let's get into it. Let's see what we are going to be creating today. All right, so I'm in the backend of my Elementor hosting. Yeah, so if I go to manage this website, I am prompted again to all these features and options. Okay, so let's go a little bit to see what this feature is here. So if I go to emails, you have the option to do an email authentication. So this authentication ensures that emails will be sent from the custom domain you set in WordPress as third-party apps and not your default Elementor domain, which is fantastic, right? So you can connect your domain, and then if you don't have a business email, you can go and get a business email from here. So I don't know how much this would cost normally, but through Elementor you get Google Workspaces for $6 per month, and this is billed annually. Yeah, I think it's pretty fair. You can create 300 accounts for this money. I mean, you can even get it for free if you want. You don't have to pay anything, so you can get it for free, and these are the features that are included. So let's go back, and as I said, you can connect your domain here. You can, if you don't have a domain, you can get a free domain from here. All right, so let's go to backups, and as you can see, since we have created this page, this website, basically we have had backups done daily. Yeah, so this was created on the 27th of April. Okay, and it seems like I did one manual backup and it didn't work for whatever reason, but after that every day there is a backup created. So if you go here, you can restore. Yeah, basically you can use this backup to restore your website. So if you did something, you can restore it, yeah, to the latest backup. So let's create a backup. Let's see what happens. Test manual. I'm curious why the previous one failed. Okay, so the backup has been created. It's creating the backup for us. So we have to come back. If I don't forget, I'll come back to see if the backup was created, and it's doing this in the backend. All right. And if we go to plugins, let's see what we have here. All right, so these are the plugins that we have installed currently on the website. So what we can do is basically select one and go to actions, either deactivate, update, disable auto updates, or simply delete it from here. You don't even have to go in the dashboard to go through the process. You simply do it from here, yeah, one by one. So if I just click on it, you don't have to actually select, and you can do this action. I think for now this is it. Let's go and edit our website. Okay, so I'm going to open the dashboard and let's go to home. So let's have a quick preview to see what we have done earlier. Let's see. So this was video 1 and this was video 2. All right, so I still feel like this is a little bit choppy and somehow it doesn't work as it worked on my test website for whatever reason. I have to check this out to see what is going on. Could be some setting that I am missing to turn off or on. I have no idea, but we're going to deal with this at the end of the series. For now, we are going to be adding another section here, and this is going to be just something not GSAP, but we need to add something extra on this page. Yeah, so for now we have the hero section, and then we have services, which it makes sense to have right after your hero section, right? And then you can say something about yourself, and then you can add, let's say, your projects, right? Or maybe this could be your project if you want. Yeah, we could say projects here, and then something about you or your company, and then have your services listed here, which makes more sense, to be honest. So we can change this, but for now, let's just work on the actual effect. So as I said in the previous videos, these effects can be worked out on different websites. You can just grab the snippet the code snippet for each effect and use it on another website. You don't have to use the whole code containing all these snippets. All right, so let's go to create another page here. So right now we just have a simple container, and I'm just going to add an image here. Yeah, let me just go for look for image, and this can be whatever image you want. Can be an image or a featured image, up to you, and whatever works for your own case. Yeah, so let's go with this one. Feels like it's very representative. I'm gonna set this to be full width, and the style is going to be width, full width, 100%, 100%, height 100% as well, and the object fit is going to be cover and center. All right, so far so good. Let's add in the same container here, in the parent container, let's add a heading, and I'm going to add something interesting here. And we're going to make it cool. So this is the website that we're kind of like following for inspiration. Yeah, so if we go to about, you will see the inspiration. So this is what we're going to be doing today. All right, so let's go and have a look. So I'm going to add this text here. Yeah, and whatever, don't mind what it says, it's just text. So let's go to styling and let's style this a bit because it's not very nice. So let me just see what font I used here because I honestly don't remember. So it's Inter. Okay, I'm gonna go and set this to Inter, and let's make it big, 3.5. Yeah, and it's a little bit too harsh. Okay, so as you can see, we have a special guest here, a special appearance. We have this span, and this is going to be turned into whatever. You can call it number, you can call it whatever you want, the class. We're gonna use it to target this part of the text to make it smaller. All right, so I'm gonna add some CSS here. So I'm gonna go to heading, and I'm gonna go to advanced and all the way to custom CSS and drop it there. And it's looking already much better. Let me just go and style this to white, much better. And I think this is coming along pretty well. Let's see what we have on the front end. So we scroll, and boom, boom. Okay, that needs to be changed. We need to leave some space here. This is pretty cool. We need to set a little bit of margin around it, or padding or whatever. Let's set some padding left and right. So I would say 20 and 20. Yeah, let's publish, and again, and it's looking pretty good. I think it's coming along pretty well, right? I think so too. Instead of adding lorem ipsum, we could just do something else, but I'm gonna focus on that at the end when I'm gonna make this mobile optimized, okay? For now, the idea is to make everything work, right? All right, so as I said, this is the effect that we're going for right now, yeah? This is the one that we are going to be building. So let's go back to home, and I want to give this container some margin top and bottom. So I'm gonna say 200 and 100. So let's add a container in here, and let's set this to be vertical. Yeah, boxed full, actually, content width full as usual, and I'm gonna set this to be 100 VH. And now we can actually go up and grab this heading, so we don't have to restyle it, right? What's the point? Gonna paste it in here, and I'm just gonna say forces. All right, and it looks like it belongs here. All right, so I'm going to set the as you can see when I hover over it, and we're gonna have this issue as we create the effect, we get this horizontal line that is not nice. Anyway, this needs to disappear, so I'm gonna go to the parent container, go to additional options, and set overflow to hidden. Okay, and now it's all gone. We don't have to worry about this again. All right, so what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna go and look for the icon list, and I'm gonna drag it in here. You can just click on it and it will appear on the page. This is just a force of habit. All right, so I'm gonna set this to be a custom width of 50%, and I'm going to set it to end. All right, let's go to style it. So I'm gonna go to the icon. First of all, let's go to the content because we need to replace this icon. So I'm gonna go to look for something stacked. All right, I'm gonna go with this one. This is just a placeholder. You can add whatever you want. Let's go to the icon style. Let's make it a bit bigger, about this size, and change the color to white. Let's go to the text and change this to enter, and size, I think we could go with 1.4, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just go and have a look at this, for example. I cannot copy the style from here because it's not the same widget. So 1.3. Okay, let's go and change it then to 1.3, and whoops, let's go and change it to white. And we can just add whatever here. I'm gonna copy this text. Yeah, I'm just gonna copy some of this text and drop it in there. At the end of the day, this is simply a placeholder. So instead of just having some lorem ipsum, we're gonna have this, okay? Let me just go here a little bit to see how much line height we have. So we didn't set anything. All right, then we just leave it the way it is because that is fine. Or maybe we have to do something about this line height. Seems like it's not in the right position. So something like this, I think. Looks like this. Yeah. All right. So far, so good. This is not important. Maybe you can add something else. Maybe you want to add something else. You will use different font. This is just for demonstration purposes, so we can create this effect. Okay. So I am going to add in the first container that will have this text that will appear on scroll, but keep in mind that we can create one and then we duplicate, because we will have around, I think, 4 in total or 5. You can create how many you want, so we don't waste time, right? All right, so I'm gonna go in the parent container again. I am going to widgets and go to layout and select container. Let's set this to be full width, and I'm gonna set a height of 11 VH on it, and let's set the space between to be justified content space between. All right, so I think that's it for now. We're gonna put a class on it, but I don't want to put a class on it because I already have the code in here. So if I do that, this will disappear and I will not see what I'm doing. All right. So I'm going to show you how this is done. I already have the effect on the page. So I will just create this so you see how it is created. Then you can duplicate it, and then I will tell you where to put the classes. Okay. All right. So let's go and add divider, and this divider will be solid. It stays like this, but we're changing the color to white so we can see it on the page. All right, again, we're gonna add a class on this. Okay, so most of the elements will have classes that will be added in the code, so this work. Next, in this container right here, we're gonna add a heading, and this heading will be again inter, yeah, font family rem3. Okay, and let's go down to, I would say, 5, right? And let me just add the title content here, and we're gonna leave it like this. It's okay. We can work on this later. Yeah, at a later stage, probably at the end when we're gonna add the text, let's say, on the page, so it makes sense. Right now we just have a lot of filler text. All right, next step, we are going to go to, we're gonna go to style again and change the color to white, and go to advanced, go to width, and we're gonna set the custom width to 50 right here, and then align self end. All right, so far so good. I'm gonna save it because I like to save things before anything else. And let's go in this container, containing all this, containing these elements. I'm gonna drop another container which will contain a heading. So I'm gonna add the heading right away, and this heading actually is a paragraph. Again, I'm not gonna change this. You can change them however you want. Maybe I will do this towards the end when I finalize this. The point of these videos is to have these elements working together on a page, because I'm trying to prove you that you can have GSAP, a GSAP full page that works well and it looks good, and it has a point. All right, so this is the P. Yeah, let's go to style. Let's go to change it to inter. And let's switch this to 1.4 and 400. Actually, I think it's 1.3, right? If I remember correctly. All right, so again, I'm just gonna grab some content here. I don't care about the text. Go to content and drop it like it's hot. Go to advanced and set the width to be 50 as well here. And set it to end. All right, and voila. So I also want to set this to 50, and I am going to set this to center right there. Or let's change the color of the text, and that is it. I think we have created our prototype, let's call it, right? So let's go to see how it looks on the front end so far, right? Okay, we're going somewhere. Okay, keep in mind that this will have the same effect like here. It comes in like like that. All right, so it's not going to look like this. Okay, I want to give some space to this at the bottom, so I'm going to say let's say 150. It looks much better. And also this container will have, let's say, maybe 50 padding. Let's see how it looks on the front end. So it's not so snugged to the, let me see. Okay, so I'm gonna actually set the margin on the right. Yeah, so let's see what do we have. All right, so if you have any issues ever and you think that things are not working properly on the page, in Elementor hosting, you have this option here where you can go and clear post cache. Yeah, I did that before when I was testing the website and things were not working properly. Oops. And in the end, it kind of cleared out. Just keep in mind that that is an option. All right. All right. So I think I figured out what the issue was. Yep. So if you go here to align self, so as you are in the container, yeah, go to align self and set the alignment to end, and that happens. All right, so yeah, we have some space here. I think that's okay for now. All right, so now let me just close this, and now let's add our classes. These are very important, so please do not skip this part, because if you skip something, it's not going to work and you're going to wonder what's going on. So let's start with the first element, okay? So we are going to add a class on this container, yeah, that contains all these elements, and we're going to call it reveal section. As always, you can change these classes. You see, it disappeared already. You can change these classes if you want, but you have to make sure that you change them in the code as well. So, right, so we will have to add a class on this container, but I'm not going to add it now because if I do that, this will happen. And you will not see what I'm doing and where I'm putting the classes exactly on the element. So that will be done at the end. So let's go to add a class on the divider. So this is the class. And as you can see, it already took a different shape and it's only 50% of what it used to be. All right, so this is because I have added some CSS for it. Yes, you can do it in Elementor natively, but for whatever reason, it works better if you do it with CSS when you're adding some snippets in. So yeah, next element is the heading. So this is the class for it. And then we have this container, and I'm gonna drop the class right here. And I think that's it. I think we are ready to add our class to the reveal section container. Yeah, this is the class. And it disappeared. All right, let's see how it's working. All right, update. Fingers crossed that it's working because I had some issues before and I had to delay this a few times. Okay, All right, so there's a little error here. It should stop here, but then it continues again. It starts again. So I need to optimize that. But overall, this is a cool effect, right? Also, if you go to the container and you switch this content position, it will change. So it will change how it appears. So let's say we want to have the justify content end. Yeah, let's publish and let's see what happens. Scroll, 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 blah, blah, blah. Okay. Yeah, it's a little bit tighter, but we have this issue. Yeah, it's cut off. In any case, let me just go to the parent container. I forgot to mention this, that the parent container needs to have some CSS for all these things to work. So I already have the CSS on the page. That's why it's working currently, as I said. Let me just bring it in here so you can see it. So go to the container and go to custom CSS and drop it like that. Let's go to have a look. So let me just delete this now again, and let's see what happens if I don't have it in there, right? So scrolling, and do you see it's a little bit choppier, yeah? So this is our CSS. I will just delete this and leave it for now. And then we have this part that relates to the section divider, okay? And yeah, as I said, you have to make sure that your container is not, that the position of the elements are well justified, yeah? So you could also say space around. Let's see what happens if we set this to space around. Okay, this is good as well. I think we could leave it space around. So at this point, I think it's ready. We could duplicate it, yeah? That is the point here. We have finished the effect on one of the elements, and we want another, we could say 4, duplicate. So 4 in total, duplicate. Let's see how this works. All right, scrolling. And I think it's working pretty well. I'll be honest, I think I like it. Could be worse. All right, so if you want for this divider to be stopping at half of the page as we have the heading, yeah, and the body text, you can go here and just say 0.5. You have the option to just, basically it starts from 0.5 and it scales to 0.5. In other words, staying the same. Yeah, that's unnecessary, that can be removed, but I'm just showing you what that means. And voila, you could do this as well, you know? This is also interesting, and it doesn't look like it's the same effect like here, although it has kind of the same base. Yeah, I think this is more interesting. Yeah, so you can play around with these values. Again, as I always tell you, if you have any issues and you don't understand something, grab the code, put it in ChatGPT and ask it to help you fix it. But as I showed you before, the elements, setting the settings in Elementor natively changes the effect. So you have to make sure that you play good with these things and set them properly. And if you don't know what you're doing, or you don't know why something worked the way it worked, then follow the lead and just keep the effect the way it is in my example. Yeah, because even if you ask help from ChatGPT, ChatGPT will not understand what you did in Elementor natively. Yeah, so even though ChatGPT, I'm telling you this from experience, even though ChatGPT goes through your code and optimizes it and works on it, if you put it in Elementor, will not work properly because you already have some settings that interfere with the code. So I'm testing this ahead of time, so you know that things are going to work the way I'm showing you. Yeah, unless there's some kind of update in Elementor that ruins everything. So you pay for, playing with GSAP. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and I will leave the code for this specific effect separately. If you want to use it somewhere else, be my guest. It works. If you'd like to see what else you can build with Elementor, watch this playlist here or here. And if you have gotten any value out of this video, please consider subscribing, liking, and sharing this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.